We recently went from just one milling center to two, and it's come with a lot of challenges. It's actually great having these two machines. It's really like 1 + 1 = 3. It's amazing to be doing a setup on that machine while this one's running, or vice versa. But keeping both green lights going is really difficult. Oh, there we go. That's better. Why is it so close to my face? As we look to next year and we do our business planning and sort of plan our goals for making sales, the biggest challenge is thinking about how many work centers do we need and how much do we have to push through them to get to that volume. And we're trying to think about it critically, because it's not just adding more machines and equipment. As much as I like purchasing and playing with new stuff, that's not the answer, because that would be more debt, more machines, more. Anyways, we're thinking about how we can feed these two machines and really keep them going, which is going to come along with a lot of workflow changes and a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, it's actually going to be quite a lot of difference in the layout of this room. So right now, this toolbox right here handles pretty much everything. It has tool holders in it, it has some tools in it. We keep devices in there when they're not, I guess, right here. A lot of inspection equipment, etc. So what we're gonna do is actually revamp our tooling area over here. So I'm thinking I want all of the tool holders to be mounted kind of on the wall over there. Actually, as I think about this, we've made the mistake that everybody makes, is we spend a bunch of money on the machines, not enough money on tool holders and work holding. So right now, there's a 40 tool ATC on both machines. We probably have about 75-ish holders, so we can fill up both machines. But when you start thinking about, okay, I need a specific 4-inch gauge length holder, it's always in the opposite machine. So we're gonna try to go from, I guess, 80 to probably about 160 tool holders. That way I think I can keep most taps and drills and face mills all at least set up if they're not in the machine. So anyways, this whole wall right here hopefully will be tool holders, and the tools that we keep, which I'm trying to move to this toolbox out of this one right here. But there's a lot of different tools and a lot of different like SKUs for tool numbers. I'm thinking we probably want to go to about like the eye level height cabinets with all 3-inch drawers, and then probably, so what does that make, 14 drawers a cabinet or something? I can't remember in my research. But probably 3 or 4 of those cabinets, and then obviously we'd take all of the collets and stuff out of here, our little tooling block here, to move over there, so that this whole corner can just flow with, I need this tool holder, this tool, set it up, probably onto a cart. Yeah, and then we'll have a raw material shelf somewhere. I'm not sure where that's gonna be. So we can kit up tools and material. Somewhere in this region, the vending machine will go away, hopefully, before it flows out to that machine or this machine. And I've seen recently a workflow at shops where they do not keep a toolbox right in front of the machine like this. That toolbox stays right there, and we walk around it a bunch. There's not a very clear way to put like raw stock on one side and then finished parts on the other, and then you got your hammer, your caliper, your indicator, whatever else you need in the middle, so that you use like during a run. Anyways, I'm gonna try to move to a workflow where the toolbox doesn't stay in front of the machine and it's only a cart with raw material and a cart with finished parts. So what is this box going to become? That box right there is the stuff in there is kind of gonna go to 2 places. We're gonna get another toolbox that will be designated as the setup toolbox. So if you're doing a setup, that toolbox would travel between this machine or that one. And you would use the toolbox while you're setting it up, but you would put it back in sort of wherever the toolbox storage location is, and it would stay there. That toolbox, I think, is going to have that piece of granite on it. Can't see it. There's a box of gauge pins over there. And the inspection stuff. All the thread gauges back here. So that will be designated as the quality control area, because right now we don't have a designated area for quality control. It's you're grabbing gauge pins over there, then you're running over here to the granite to catch the height on something or the flatness, whatever you're looking for over here. So that's gonna, I don't know, we'll feel more official because we have a quality control area, but you will have to bring the parts to the quality control. Everything will be there. It's just a different workflow, a different sort of mindset, but I think that is what it's going to take to feed both of these machines to their max. You know, we were at IMTS just a couple weeks ago looking at robots and pallet loaders and all that kind of stuff, and I've been told by other people it doesn't make sense to employ that technology until your system and process surrounding it is up to par and or can like keep up with that sort of technology. So that's the goal here. Always seems like we're building our process to keep up with the work, to keep the machines busy before you start spending money on stuff like that. Because these workflow changes and stuff will basically create the need for that stuff. Anyways, this whole rack here. So the rotary's over here. Jib crane's up above us. There. That is going to... So the base plate that's on the machine right now is usually there. Oh, I guess the door's closed. That base plate, which we obviously use the crane to get that in and out, and the rotary. This is going away. We're going to build a table right here up next to the machine. So the rotary can sit there, the base plate can sit there. So this section's not needed. That's going on the QC cart. That is our nice RO water. That is, we just have a hose. So we can fill this machine or that one. That is actually going to go onto a pallet rack that's on the other side of this wall. And we're just going to plumb the hose through the wall so that we don't have to see or look at that. Basically so we can get rid of this middle section. The programming desk, we need another computer or workstation for the simple case of you need to update speeds and feeds or stepovers at the machine. I'm not sure what to do about that. I might actually mount a computer inside of the setup toolbox, which we still have to purchase that toolbox. But if the computer was attached to the setup toolbox, you could roll it in front of the machine, and that's sort of the time at which you would need to make those modifications. But you could have Fusion open, modify your toolpath, do whatever you need to do, and post it all right there so everything's good to go. And then have a more physical desk for like dedicated programming, which is going to move from here onto probably something with a nice maple top like that, on wheels with like the whole sitting standing thing. I like the idea or the thought of putting it right here just when it's not being used. I'm not so sure. I guess you wouldn't want to sit there and look at that all day, but unsure. These racks for now, they're all, material fixtures, and I call this the fixture store, but it has all the Mighty Bite stuff and Pearson stuff, everything you need to create a fixture. So that's all going to stay there. This corner, haven't used that in a long time. Instead of relieving tools, it makes way more sense to just spend the money and purchase the correct tool. So this corner over here, not sure what's going to happen. I'd like to move this out of this room and just keep it somewhere else. So if I can summarize all of that, we're trying to adapt this room and our processes to do as much thought and processing on the front end, so when material finally makes it to this room, it's basically ready to throw on the machines and start going. The other thing I'm thinking, The rotary only goes on the 5700 right now, but we're usually making pretty small parts on there, and there's no need to have it on the 40 by 20 machine when the 16 by 30 machine would work just as well. And well, actually, this is the 45S. It's slightly faster, and I think it's more accurate. The probe on this one will probe within 0 or like less than a tenth all the time. The 5700, I find, like, if you probe something identically, just repeated, it can be off like one or 2 tenths in either direction. So I don't know. Anyways, I think this is a more accurate machine. Feels way crispier, like just all the moves. I should make a video comparing the two. But the rotary might go from over there to on this machine, and on this machine almost permanently. The reason it goes on and off that machine over there regularly is because the plate work that we do, that we have to put the base plate on for, we have to remove the rotary. So if we move that to the 4500, I think it could stay on here nearly permanently. And then also we want to make that investment into a grid plate or a 0-point work holding system. For that machine for sure. This one with plate work, it makes less sense, but having that programming process all done on the front end, being able to say, hey, put a vise in spot E4, this vise, this material, and then never having to touch off, like G54, a setup person could just not even think about it if you do all the cam correctly on the front side. So those are all the changes that I think we got to make to get these machines to pump out enough work to justify another machine, or hopefully they just run smooth enough that we can get a lathe or a 5-axis or a cobot. Not sure yet, but anyways, that's what's up in Plant 2. Have a good one, I guess. See you later.